What's up everybody, Jay here and welcome back to the Planted Tank. And today I just want to talk a little bit about cloudy water. I've been getting a lot of questions about it. So anyways, let's check it out. So today's video is all about how I keep my water in my aquariums so crystal clear. And for starters, I like to run really good mechanical filtration in my filters. Most people like to run some sort of filter floss after their sponges or before their sponges, but I don't. I just like to run sponges. It seems to do the job just fine for me. And here recently I've been trying to keep my tanks a lot more on the natural side, so I'm not really adding any water clarifier chemicals or anything like that. I don't really have any issues with like bacteria blooms or free-floating algae, which a bacteria bloom, if you don't know what that is, it's basically when your tank crashes and your bacteria has to build back up from the substrate and the filtration. That's just something that's going to make your water look a little milky, and no matter how many water changes you do, it's just going to keep looking milky until your bacteria has a chance to reestablish itself inside the tank. Don't ever forget that a planted aquarium is a full-blown ecosystem, and it's really important to remember that. It's not just about growing plants or keeping fish healthy, it's an entire ecosystem. Just always try to keep that in the back of your mind. Free-floating algae, that is a really annoying thing to deal with if you don't know how to get rid of it, which basically it just turns your water like a really foggy green color. It's pretty easy to get rid of. I struggled with it when I first got into the hobby, but then I got onto the plantedtank.net forums, and there was a lot of people on there saying that you should just do a really big water change down to about here, which is about 90%. After you fill it back up, just do a large dose of Seachem Excel, which is a algicide. I believe the actual name for it is glutaraldehyde. And it's something that I actually don't use in my aquariums anymore. Not even my low-tech tanks use glutaraldehyde because it's a really hardcore chemical, and I'm trying to keep chemicals out of my tanks. The only things that I actually add to my water is Seachem Prime after I do a water change, and my liquid fertilizer, which is NilocG Thrive. All links to this stuff will be down in the description. That's really all I like to add to my water. I don't use any kind of water clarifiers. I don't use Seachem Purigen in my filters or anything like that. I do use Seachem Matrix for my biological filtration if you're curious. You really shouldn't have any hardcore issues with foggy water in a planted tank if you have really good filtration, good circulation, really nice healthy growing plants. Just keeping up with your overall husbandry of your tank and just maintenance, your weekly maintenance is going to help you out a lot. I know when we first get into the hobby, everyone's like all about doing their water changes, and after a while you kind of get sick of doing them. I like to do my water changes because I just like to see my tanks just so clean. And as you can tell, most of my tanks stay really nice and clean for the most part. But yeah, just keep up on your maintenance. Don't be afraid to do a water change bigger than 50%. As long as your water is completely dechlorinated before it goes back into the tank, it really doesn't matter how big of a water change you do. A lot of people say that it kind of like messes up the balance and can kill bacteria and all that stuff, but if your water is dechlorinated before it goes in, it's not going to harm a thing. And you're basically just taking out excess nutrients and then putting back fresh, clean water. My fish seem to really like big water changes, other than freaking out when the water gets too low, but they can deal with that a little bit. I've never had a fish die just from being stressed out after a water change. So hopefully you guys learned a little bit from this video, and try to keep your guys' tanks a little bit more natural. Don't go adding a whole bunch of chemicals, because it is an ecosystem, and you have to remember that there's a lot of precious bacterias and all kinds of stuff living in the substrate and on every surface in there. So yeah, that's pretty much all I got for today's video. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and yeah. If you're new to my channel, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, and as always, hit that like button for me and keep it planted.